Well, hello, I'm Neville, and I'm bringing to you the second of our series on wisdom. This time it's about individual wisdom, my inner wisdom. That is possibly the most important aspect. Inner wisdom is where all wisdom starts. It governs our life, it governs our future, but equally it can impact on our community wisdom and our global wisdom. So where do we begin? Well, we really need to ask two questions. Where does wisdom come from, and how can we make it grow? Well, let's think about where it comes from. We always talk about nature and nurture. And if we think about nature, we can think about humans as already possessing, the moment they're born, elements of altruism, rational thinking, not always, and empathy, and various other features. They, if you like, are the substrate from which we can build our inner wisdom through nurture. Now let us think of nurture. What does it consist of, and what can we do to enhance it? Well, we like to think of four components of nurture. Firstly, wisdom we can pick up and absorb through our mentors. Our mentors being, in the first instance, our parents and immediate family, and then our peers, our colleagues, our friends, our leaders, particularly people who we believe are wise. We can watch them, we can think about them, we can see what they do that could influence our own inner wisdom. That's the way we can make it grow. Be respectful of our elders, of course. Be respectful of all people who you believe have got wisdom. Learn from them. Second element, of course, is your own innate observation and experiences. These belong to you. But every time you have an experience, think about it. Does that contribute to your wisdom? What can you learn from it? How can you live in the future working from that basis of established experience? And thirdly, and perhaps very importantly, is reflection. We cannot grow in wisdom unless we're prepared to reflect, to think about ourselves, our past, our present, and our future. Spend time on reflection. That is the real key to developing your wisdom. And finally, of course, and particularly important from our perspective, is education. Now, unfortunately, education in our formal schools and universities very seldom really touches on wisdom, the most important thing that they should be focusing on. That's where we come in. Education for Well Futures is really founded on trying to help you promote wisdom in your lives. They're the positives that you can work on. But now let's think of the negatives that are also very important. What retards our growth in wisdom? Well, we can think again of at least 3 or 4 pretty important issues. The first we might think of is emotions, negative emotions. Anger, fear, envy, greed, you name them. Each one of those things is egocentric and tends to and puts the emphasis back on our own immediate selves. We need to retard that. We need to grow beyond those negative emotions. Secondly, we could talk about information and information overload. Of course we need information. The trouble is, in our day and age, we are virtually suffering from a surfeit of information. Information is coming from all directions. It can confuse us. It can distract us. That can be a danger. We need to learn how to, pick and choose from the information coming towards us and select that and remember that which is probably intrinsic to building our wisdom. Now, partly with information also, we now have the importance of fake news, false information that can really divert us. We need to learn how to identify that and just focus on, if you like, true information. Thirdly, we have the overall busyness of our everyday lives. The fact that we are surrounded by things like Facebooks, mobile phones, Wikipedias, entertainment. There's all sorts of things that can distract us from, or that coerces us into thinking about the moment now, here and now, and distracts us from trying to build our longer term wisdom that applies to what we might be able to do in the future. Fourthly, if you like, is consumerism and instant gratification. This is becoming increasingly important in our day and age. We can so easily satisfy our immediate desires. The problem is our immediate desires, if we achieve them, may not really last to our happiness and certainly doesn't contribute to our wisdom. And finally, we have a whole series, if you like, of vested interests. That could be politicians, that could be business leaders, or people with ideologies. All sorts of people are trying to get us to think the way they'd like us to think, not the way we should be thinking in developing our wisdom. Be careful of that. Okay, so you put all those together, the negative ideas and the positive ideas to develop your wisdom, and we think, gee, wisdom's not an easy thing to grow, but it can be grown, and it should be grown. We desperately need leaders and influential citizens that can take us through with wisdom, understanding and compassion, who can take us through and lead us into this 21st century and beyond. Wisdom is yours for the growing. We would like to think at Education for World Futures that we can help you along that path. So keep watching. Thank you.